special guest. He is a natural products entrepreneur and, of course, a podcast host too, no other than Mr. Stephen Cowan.
All right. Thanks for having me.
Welcome to Book 101, Mr. Stephen. And can you please introduce more about yourself?
Yeah, my name's Stephen Cowan. I'm originally from Chicago, currently in Boulder, Colorado, the Silicon Valley of the natural products industry. I have a supplement company where we make it easy for you to sneak vegetables into your diet through microgreens, nutrient dense baby vegetables. And I have a podcast called Plant Frequencies Podcast, where I interview experts in the world of plants, nature, health. Happy to be here.
Mr. Stephen Cohen, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge to the world through your business. And let's talk about the future of everyday nutrition. What makes microgreens nutritionally superior to the nature greens or supplements?
So microgreens are a phase in the plant's life when they're just 14 days old and naturally the most concentrated in vitamins, minerals, nutrients, unique antioxidants, things that most people are deficient in. So we grow these baby vegetables, broccoli, radish, cabbage, to 14 days old, and then we wash them and freeze dry them. Freeze drying them retains all those good things and extends the shelf life from just about a week fresh, and there's no beating fresh, but it goes bad quickly, to now over 1 year, making it very easy, maybe the easiest way to sneak a lot of these very healthy vegetables that we all need to support our health and vitality and energy and um, into any meal.
How does freeze drying preserve more nutrients compared to other preservation methods?
Yeah, so freeze drying compared to say dehydration. Dehydration is it works very well for extending the shelf life, maybe up to 1 year, but it's applying heat. It's like a mini oven, and that oven is burning off some of the very unique vitamins, minerals, antioxidants. So some of these things are just very fragile and they don't work well with heat. What we do with freeze drying, drop the temperature to negative 40 degrees. There's no heat at all. It's basically under extreme vacuum and it's pulling the moisture out. So you retain the color, the texture, the flavor, but most importantly to us, you're retaining those nutrients. NASA developed the technology. You see it a lot with backpacking meals. 25-year shelf life. It's unbelievable.
Mr. Steven, beyond vitamins, what rare antioxidants or nutrients thrive in microgreens?
So most people want broccoli microgreens. That's thought of as the king of the microgreens because it has a very unique antioxidant called sulforaphane. Sulforaphane is it gets a little sciencey here, but um, sulforaphane is a precursor to NRF2, which is a pathway in the body that allows us to detoxify ourselves. So these antioxidants basically are fuel for our own internal antioxidant factory. Antioxidants are important because they counteract free radicals or poison. These microgreens, broccoli, radish, cabbage are very powerful at pulling poison out of the body, maybe stronger than any other vegetable we know of.
Let's talk about solving modern problems. How do freeze dried microgreens solve the freshness gap for urban dwellers or food desserts?
Yeah, so it's fresh microgreens. There's no beating fresh microgreens. At best, you are growing these microgreens yourself at home and you could harvest them still living. It's very rare to get to eat something that's still alive. Very rare. Most of the food at our grocery store has been picked and really consuming itself for weeks sometimes. So there's no beating fresh. I love fresh. I try to eat fresh as much as I can, but since they're just babies, they have a very short shelf life. And once you harvest any fruit or vegetable, any plant, it is now starting to consume itself. So it's starting to eat its own vitamins and minerals and sugars and carbohydrates. So you're losing nutrients very quickly after harvesting it. Um, so you have a very short window to eat it fresh. So this is where we come in and we help. We're able to retain up to 98% of those nutrients while extending the shelf life to now over 1 year. So you don't have to worry about it going bad. In the US today, over 35% of our produce spoils. So there's a lot of food waste out there. It's a lot of wasted money too. So now you don't waste as much money because it doesn't go bad.
Could this make elite nutrition accessible to low income communities?
At the moment, it is I don't know how to say it. It's more expensive. It's definitely more of a product for people that really want to invest in their health. It's a lot less than pharmaceuticals or um, it's less expensive to be preventative about your health, but it's not really available to low income at the moment. Because microgreens are just expensive. That's just the way it is. It's a lot of vegetables. It's you can see there's a whole greenhouse. This whole farm costs over $1 million. Um, it's not inexpensive, but we are working to bring the price down. We have not raised our prices since when we started. We've been in business for 8 years, or excuse me, 6 years since 2018, and we have not raised our prices. Trying to make it more accessible to people, but it's an expensive ingredient, but it's a lot less expensive than buying it fresh.
What food waste challenges do they address compared to traditional grains?
Well, they address the that there's no spoilage with traditional vegetables and fruits. Up to 35% of the produce is spoiling. It's either spoiling, meaning going bad, rotten, just into the garbage. It's rotting on the field because there's not enough workers to pick the produce, or the demand isn't there. So they're like, why even pick it? And there's no one to sell it to. It's going bad in transportation. So from the farm to a distribution center to a grocery store. It's going bad somewhere in the transportation. It's going bad at the grocery store, and then it's going bad when it gets to our homes. And produce. I unfortunately throw out produce sometimes. It goes bad even in my own home. So with our product, we could ship it to you anywhere in the country. We have free shipping on most orders, and um, it doesn't go bad. You have over a 1 year shelf life. It's a 30-day supply, so hopefully you can use 30 servings within the course of a year. And everything that we make, we are shipping out um, within weeks of making it. So it's really fresh, and yeah, it's not going bad.
Mr. Steven, let's talk about the science and innovation. Does freeze drying affect bioavailability? Can our bodies absorb nutrients as effectively?
These are good questions. I'd be interested to know how you come about picking your questions. So bioavailability, that's a great question because there's a lot of things out there marketed as bioavailable. What does bioavailable mean? It means the ability for your own body to actually absorb these nutrients. On a protein bar that says you're getting 10 grams of protein, well, is your body able to actually absorb all 10 grams of those proteins? Um, Maybe not. If it's like a pea protein, you might only be getting 2 or 3 grams. If it's a sprouted pea protein, then maybe up to those 8 or 10 grams. The most bioavailable protein is eggs. Um, so for the microgreens, we have not done a bioavailability test to see fresh versus freeze dried. These tests are very expensive. We've been investing in the NERF2 and the sulforaphane tests, vitamins, other minerals, but bioavailability we haven't done. But the studies that are out there around freeze drying and bioavailability is it actually increases the bioavailability. Why? Because these cells are frozen down to negative 40 degrees, causing all the cells to explode. So they're all now like just like open, and your body can more easily absorb these kind of blown open cells.
How does the texture, taste hold up after a reconstitution versus fresh microgreens?
It will crumble to powder. We have a product that's a powder, and then we also have a product that's the whole leaf. So we don't powder it. We just kind of like jam it into these tins. not powdered, and it just falls apart. It'll crumble to dust in your fingers. There's no water in it at all, but you can't even taste it. So when you mix it in your eggs, your salad, sandwich, smoothie, you're only putting 1 or 2 teaspoons on per day. That's equal to 1 to 2 cups of leafy greens. The average person only needs about 2 cups of leafy greens per day. Um, but so you can't even taste it. It just disappears into whatever you're adding it to.
Mr. Steven, what breakthrough in freezer drying tech made this scalable?
The invention of the home freeze dryer. So freeze dryers are have been around for maybe about 50 years. My understanding is NASA developed it to help make space food. They're sending it's very expensive. Every pound that you send to space is like, I don't know, thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars, crazy expensive. So they developed a technology to get all of the moisture out of the food, and then they could reconstitute it, add water back into it when they're up in space. Those machines were millions of dollars. Now you can buy an at-home freeze dryer at Costco. I just saw one at Costco uh, a week or two ago for maybe like $3,000. So very small scale, great for people that are maybe have a big garden and they can't eat it all, and so they want to freeze dry some of that, or you want to scale your own at-home freeze drying business. And you could start with a small investment and R&D products in that kind of way. But they've made bigger and bigger and bigger freeze dryers. They've gone from the home units. I've broken lots of them. Running home units as a in a commercial way, and then now they have commercial freeze dryers that are smaller, and you could all the way up to a freeze dryer as big as you could fit on the back of a semi truck. That's as big as anyone wants to buy one. Otherwise, they're like really hard to move around, and those are I think over $1 million. But yeah, the invention of the home freeze dryer. There's now lots of competing companies. I would say that's been around for less than 10 years. Um, I was like one of the first people. I was the first freeze dried microgreens company, and that was about we moved from dehydration to freeze drying in 2000. So for about 4 or 5 years, that's it's been a thing.
Mr. Steven, let's talk about the practical adaptation. What's the cost comparison of freezer or freeze dried microgreens versus organic produce over a month?
Yeah, so our microgreens are USDA organic certified and regenerative organic certified. So they're the best, the highest quality certifications that anyone can get. There's no higher than regenerative organic certified, and you have to be USDA organic certified to get that. So we're up there. So comparing organic to our also organic, we are typically the same price that you can buy it at Whole Foods or the farmers market, or up to $1 or up to $1 per serving less. Um, Average serving for our products is around $1.50 to $2. Average serving of that same amount of microgreens fresh is up to $3. So we're typically the same price, if not less expensive than you can buy it for fresh, and we'll ship it to you for free.
For free indeed. And how would you add these to everyday meals without cooking skills?
You could think of this like a garnish. You're just going to sprinkle this on top of your eggs, your salad, your sandwich, a smoothie. Um, don't cook it, because if you put this in the oven or in a hot pot, you could burn off some of those those nutrients. So don't cook it. Once you've plated the meal, that's when you're adding it on top.
Amazing breakthrough, Mr. Steven. And congratulations for that product. I hope people will empower and having these multivitamins for their body. Can they replace multivitamins for most people?
It can. It's a competitor to Athletic Greens. So we're Athletic Greens, multi-billion-dollar company, sourcing ingredients from all around the world, over 100 ingredients. They're not certified organic. Um, are you actually getting enough of any one of those ingredients to support the body in the way that, for example, turmeric says? For us, we're only 1 to 3 ingredients, and we have enough of a serving size that it will actually be beneficial to the average person. Can it replace the multivitamin? Um, that's something we're working on. We're getting pretty close to that. Right now, it's mostly used for replacing leafy greens like salads, and it's also used for detoxing people that really want to get bad stuff out of their system, and mostly their liver and their gut.
Awesome. So let's talk about the sustainability and scale. How resource efficient is mass producing these versus conventional greens?
Yeah, I would say from sustainability standpoint, microgreens use 1/10 the amount of resources as traditionally grown vegetables. So 1/10 the amount of space, time, water, energy. Um, so they're extremely sustainable. Where they're not sustainable is in seeds. They're very seed intensive. Any one of these trays that you're seeing on the screen right now will have thousands of seeds on it. So the seed thing is something for the industry to figure out. It can be challenging to source seeds at time. So that's where you can see a cross section of that's broccoli microgreens. That's one of our best sellers. That's grown in hydroponically, meaning without soil. It's grown in some type of a growing medium, like a jute, I think we were using. And then you can see we've got different types of products. We have our broccoli in capsule form, and powder form, and whole leaf form. And then we have our microgreens powder, which is a blend of broccoli, radish, red cabbage. That's our most popular product. That's the most bang for your buck. And that's been, we've lab tested that for that detoxification, and of course for how much vegetables you're getting as well. But yeah, they're great products. USDA organic. You can get it on our website right there. You could also get it on Amazon Prime, but it's the best deal on our website.
Do they reduce the carbon footprint of superfoods shipped globally?
Do they reduce? I mean, it's all US grown, and we're only selling it to people in the US right now. So no disrespect to any other countries, just kind of hard to sometimes it's hard for us to even sell it into Canada. We're working on it. So it's not traveling very far. It's very lightweight. So so you could ship a lot of it very inexpensively. I would say, yeah, it's a positive compared to what maybe the average sustainability is, or lack of sustainability is for produce today. Yeah, I feel really positive about it.
So it's not yet available in Amazon Canada.
Correct. We're working on it. We would, if anybody's got a pull at the Canadian government to approve our applications, let me know.
Looking forward for that, Mr. Steven, and I want to be one of your products to be tasted and
I'd ship it.
be
I'd ship it
part.
to you for free. My pleasure.
Thank you, and be part of my daily lives.
How would
So,
you use it?
as a natural product entrepreneur and podcast host, what are your short-term and long-term goals?
Short-term goals. This is my first business, so I'm learning business. I'm about 6-ish years into this, and I've learned a lot. And now I'm able to start more businesses, like this podcast. I'm an investor in other natural products businesses. I consult for other businesses around marketing, and and so I enjoy that. I'm fully um, remote, so I can be anywhere. And for about up until about 6 months ago, I was in our kitchen in our manufacturing facility every day. Now it's all set up to where I don't have to be in there anymore. So I really enjoy the freedom. And then long term, this would be a company that we would sell to probably a larger company that really would be able to help get the price down of these microgreens to make it more available to people in lower income, make it more affordable for more people. And then on the podcast side, it's just grow the podcast into a way that's really fun. All this has to be fun for me too, and most days it's very fun, especially when I'm in like my creative flow of anything. Um, and grow the podcast is something that is impactful, sustainable, makes money. Right now, it's an investment, and the sponsor of my podcast is Be Micro. Um, but yeah, just grow these things in a fun way, in a sustainable way, and a profitable way where everybody wins that's involved.
Good luck to your goals, Mr. Steven, and looking forward for more success to your company. Yeah.
Nice, thank you,
And
thank
what
you,
will be
thank you.
your advice for those people out there who want to be like you?
Mm, uh, just know that everything costs probably about 2 to 4 times as much as you think it will, and takes about 2 to 4 times as long. Marketing is the most important part of all this. Everyone's got a good product. Good products are a dime a dozen. We do have the only USDA organic and regenerative organic product on the market right now. So I'm really proud of that. Not easy to do, but there's a lot of really good products out there, even when it comes to our competition. Um, so you just gotta, the marketing is what's going to differentiate it. So get good at marketing in the natural product space. There's a lot of really good community. Get yourself a mentor. Learn what type of founder you are. Are you more of, from the book Rocket Fuel, talking books, are you more of a visionary, or are you more the integrator? Know your role. Know how to attract the other. No company is successful company is doing it with just a visionary or just an integrator. No real person is both those things. You need to have one. You need to be one or the other, and then learn how to attract the other. um, yeah, and reach out if I can be of consult around you starting your business. I work with a lot of businesses in the natural product space that are going from zero, like, hey, I just have an idea, I want to R&D, I want to figure out how to scale, I want to know if this is a viable business, and helping them get to that 1, 2, 3 level.
Thank you for your advice, Mr. Steven. And can you please recommend a book that influenced your journey?
Yeah, so I just referenced, I'm going to do two because I just referenced the rocket fuel, which is part of the EOS system, entrepreneur operating system. It's a great way to run your business. And then the book that is the most impactful to me, at least right at this moment, for both personally and professionally, is The Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. And it basically says if you follow these four rules, life will be a lot simpler, more joyful. There'll be a lot more ease, and life will just work better. And the four agreements are: number one, be impeccable with your word, meaning basically do not lie. Number two, don't take anything personally. Number three, don't make assumptions. And number four, always do your best. So if you could follow just those four rules, it's a very short book. It's about a 2 hour listen on Spotify or Audible, wherever you listen. I've been listening to a I've been listening to a lot on Audible now that, or excuse me, Spotify, now that you can listen to books for free with the subscription. So I do that, and I listen to it often, and it's something that me and my girlfriend, we have shared language around. It's me and all of my employees, we have shared language around. So if something gets kind of crazy, where somebody's is getting triggered and their emotions are getting hurt, and they're getting upset, we can look at and speak in a way that is calm and collective. And typically, it's people taking things personally. That is the hardest one for me. That is the hardest one for most people, is taking things personally. So, um, yeah, that's the book.
Thank you for your recommendation. And what chronic health issues could benefit most from daily microgreen intake?
Well, there's a lot of studies out there. If people look up the study of sulforaphane, and maybe you can even do that right now, what is sulforaphane helpful for? It's interesting. I'm a little hand tied on things that I can and can't say as making claims. There's certain areas, certain words we're not allowed to say. As founders of these natural products businesses, we're not allowed to bring marketing and say certain things. Um, there's just a lot of rules, unfortunately. Even if we could prove that it's true, we're not allowed to say it. So some of those things that I'd like to say are illegal for me to say. But if you look it up, and um, you could say it, but I can't say it. So what we tell most people is it supports with their their heart health and gut health, energy, and those are the main things that people are suffering from, and those are great things that we help with. It's also really powerful in detoxification. So it's a very powerful antioxidant that's good at pulling bad things out of the body. We're in constant bombardment from bad things, unfortunately, because of air quality, water quality, eating processed food, the chemicals that are in our shirts um, and our bedding and just everywhere. And we need to be pulling these bad things out. We need to help the body pull these bad things out, because these bad things could build up, add up to something that would make life really unenjoyable. We want to stay naturally balanced, and we want to use nature as much as we can to keep us in balance. And that's where I believe we're the most supportive. Plus these things we can't say. Look up sulforaphane, look up Nerf2 activation, and they will say they will say some very good things that I can't say. So little cliffhanger, little homework.
No spoiler, people. No spoiler.
Hey, you give us a spoiler. Do you look it up? Can you say the words?
Oh, yes, later. But I have a more question. Will chefs and food brands drive adoption or consumers?
Chef's Fresh is very popular. That's the number one place that microgreens are consumed today. Is typically at high end restaurants as like a beautiful piece of art. It's a garnish on the dish. They're so beautiful fresh. They are not as beautiful freeze dried because they just crumble so small. It's like you touch them a little bit and they're so dry that they just kind of fall apart. They don't look as beautiful. As fresh. So chefs, we don't see that as much. We do see it in smoothie shops. We have customers that you could add a scoop of our microgreens into your smoothie. That's great. So maybe like a smoothie chef. But what about what was the other question? You said chefs or who?
And adaptation or for consumers?
Yeah, it's just education. So that's part of why I'm here today is to educate. Most people don't know what microgreens are. They don't know that there's a phase in this plant's life when it's naturally the most concentrated and you only need a small amount of it. You can get it in a very clean way. Most food today, it has very little nutrition in it, unfortunately. You have to eat 4 apples today to get as many vitamins as just one apple 80 years ago. So there's a huge problem with nutrition in our food today, and yeah, people that really value their health, that's who invests in these microgreens.
Microgreens indeed. But before we wrap up our discussion today, Mr. Steven, I'm inviting you to please do listen to my other podcast, people. My other podcast, because my abstract essay is already in fifth season, abstract poetry in second season, and of course, my book 101 review in fifth season too, comedy 101 in second season, and food 101 in fifth season as well, geography 101 in fourth season, and my baby podcast Law 101 and Mental Health 101, Love Letters in third season, and Movie 101 Review and Music 101 in its fourth season, and Science 101 and Sex 101 in its first season. Please listen to them wherever you listen your podcast. Mr. Steven, in 10 years, what percent of diets could realistically rely on these microgreens?
In 10 years, what percentage of diets could realistically rely on microgreens? I would say in the US, um, maybe up to 10%, maybe more. Hard to really gauge that. There's not a lot of numbers around what percentage of people are consuming microgreens. Not a lot of places offer them to buy. Um, yeah, that's just my guess. 10% of people.
10% indeed. Who knows? It will become 100%. Why not? Because people nowadays they're having health conscious in everything. Mr. Stephen Cowan, thank you so much for sharing your business to the world. Thank you so much for empowering us. And can you please invite our listeners to support microgreens?
Thank you very much. Check out our website at www.bmicro.farm. And my podcast can be found on YouTube and everywhere that you listen to your podcast. It's Plant Frequencies Podcast.
Yes, people, let's support Mr. Stephen Cowan because if you support him, for sure, our health become more and more and more. What do you think?
I
More
agree. That's why I
healthy.
do it. More
Yeah.
health. That's a natural health. Can't beat it.
Natural health. Well, health is wealth, people. So, Mr. Stephen, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. My
More to
pleasure.
come, people. See you soon.